Welcome to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Here to talk all things hockey are your hosts, Brad Crisco, Ryan Hanna, and Evan Lobsinger.
Hello, folks, and welcome to this special bonus episode of the Winged Wheel Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Hanna, and like I mentioned, this is going to be a little bit of a different episode. What you're going to hear today is a replay of the Winged Wheel Podcast night at the LCA that happened last Saturday, October 29th. So that is a special event that we have run now a few times with the Detroit Red Wings in partnership with them and in benefit of the Jamie Daniels Foundation. So it is a really, really fun night. The turnout has been absolutely astronomical. It's blown us away. And what it is there are tickets sold, and every ticket purchased, a portion of the proceeds are donated from the Red Wings and us, the Winged Wheel Podcast, to the Jamie Daniels Foundation. They get access not only to the Detroit Red Wings game that night was against the Minnesota Wild, and you get to sit in special Winged Wheel Podcast sections. So we had the entire gondola. You filled it up, upper bowl and lower bowl sections. Just the crowd was absolutely packed with Winged Wheel Podcast fans and listeners. You also get access to a special pre-game live recording of the Winged Wheel Podcast. The first two happened right outside Little Caesars Arena in the beer garden. We had the very good problem of there were so many of you wanting to come that we needed to find a bigger space and some that was indoors, so we can guarantee that it would be not so frigid for people. So we went just across the street to Hockeytown Cafe for the pregame stuff, and that live recording, you filled multiple floors of Hockeytown Cafe. It featured special guests Ken Daniels and Mickey Redmond, as well as our good friend Prashanth Iyer joined us for this most recent one, and it was a really great chat. It's awesome to do live shows, and to see you all there, that support is immense. As with any live show, the audio and the video, even for this one, will probably be a little bit funky, so bear with us. But please know that we're always working to improve these, so the next one is going to be even bigger and better. And speaking of the next one, we are very, very happy to announce that the next Winged Wheel Podcast night at the LCA is going to be happening on Saturday, April 8th, 2023, against the Pittsburgh Penguins. And to get your tickets, go to DetroitRedWings.com/WWP. Again, that's DetroitRedWings.com/WWP. Note that we haven't announced this out to the Twitter world or on our website yet. Like, this is just, if you're listening to this bonus episode, consider it special access. So you go to that link and you get your first choice of tickets while they're all there. So we encourage you to get them soon. And again, a portion of the proceeds from every ticket sold does benefit the Jamie Daniels Foundation. It is a discounted ticket. You get a special Winged Wheel Podcast discount, and you get access to the live show and some other goodies. We have some other special things in the works for you, some things to take home, maybe some different special guests as well. You'll, of course, have all the same fantastic stuff as from the previous Winged Wheel Podcast nights. We're always working to make these better. So again, DetroitRedWings.com/WWP. Before we jump into the replay of that, I do want to tell you about one or two more things that are really, really important. On Thursday, December 1st, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. is a special breakfast event in benefit of the Jamie Daniels Foundation, and it is a doozy, folks. Hot Stove Stories with Mick and Ken. So it's not just Mickey Redmond and Ken Daniels. It's also going to be Chris Draper, Chris Osgood, Dan O'Halloran, Wes McCauley, and myself hosting. It is going to be a fantastic time. It's going to be a Q&A, a discussion. There's going to be a live auction of some really, really great ticket packages and other premium items. There's a silent auction happening online right now if you go to jamiedanielsfoundation.org that is running up until December 1st at 9:45 a.m. Fantastic memorabilia like signed Moritz Seider jersey, a signed game-used Dylan Larkin stick. If you know anyone in your life who would like a Toronto jersey, there's a signed Austin Matthews jersey. There is a signed Mike Tyson boxing glove. There's experiences, events, whatever there is, you name it. Really fantastic stuff. And of course, all benefits the Jamie Daniels Foundation and their fight against substance use disorder. So it's for a fantastic cause. Go to jamiedanielsfoundation.org to get your tickets and to bid on the silent auction. I really hope to see you all there. I want to fill that room. It's going to be a great time. Lastly, last announcement, based on the response that we got after the first special run of these, and by popular demand, the special Winged Wheel Podcast Mickey Redmond style flannels are going to be available. Once again, we're doing another limited edition run of those. A portion of the proceeds from every single one of those sold will benefit the Jamie Daniels Foundation as well. Plus, they're Mickey Redmond approved. So They're great to have, really, really comfortable. They'll be up on the wingedwheelpodcast.com/shop page sometime within the next week or so stay tuned. If you go to that page right now, click on the item link, you can enter your email to be notified as to when they're available. But for now, enjoyed this replay of the fantastic live show from the last Winged Wheel podcast night at the LCA. Get your tickets to the next Winged Wheel podcast night, DetroitRedWings.com/WWP. Get your tickets to Hot Stove Stories with Mick and Ken, JamieDanielsFoundation.org. And thank you all so, so much for your support. It means the world. This little bonus episode is just the smallest thing we can do to say thanks. Enjoy. Hey, how's it going? Wherever you want to sit, man.
I don't know.
Mick, wherever you want to sit, either seat.
Okay.
Mick, you know, Ken talked a big game about when you're going to show up, and you're going to show up on Mickey time, and here you are beating Ken Daniels to the live podcast.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. He just messaged saying he'd be here in about 10 minutes. So
Oh, my God.
you have 10 minutes to get it.
He texted me and he said, don't forget your winged wheel flannel. I'm thinking, this guy's like my mother.
That's exactly what I do to you guys.
Hey, that's right.
Where'd y'all come from today? Local? Everybody local?
New York City.
New York City?
New York City.
Wow.
South Dakota.
Okay. Oh, that's not, I didn't mean that badly. Is that Pierre or Pear?
Sioux Falls.
I've been to Pear.
Pierre.
Pierre. No trees. Jesus. Crazy.
We have one from, we have some people here from Luxembourg today.
Oh.
That's right. Do we have any folks from Ohio? We congratulate you on escaping. Who here's from Ann Arbor? Go Blue. Who here's from East Lansing? Wow. Okay, that's good. Good man.
Are all you guys going to the game tonight, or you're watching in the bar, or what are you doing? Going to the game? I want to tell you a story. Last night, we played, the Red Wing alumni played an exhibition game in Troy. We played against, just keep it simple, it was a veteran team. They have 34 teams of veterans from around the United States. And a lot of these guys, you know, as you can imagine, have been overseas, been in these wars and these battles. They got issues to deal with. They had an all-star team that played us. We had a great game. We won 11-9 with an empty net goal. And I don't know, the guy's name, Gary Sinise. Do you guys know Gary Sinise?
Yep.
Right? He's got a foundation that apparently supports veterans, their families, to get relocated, to help them get settled and organized. And yesterday I did I guess it was kind of a broadcast thing, to Armed Forces Network, which went everywhere around the world. And it was pretty cool to be involved with these guys last night. 34 teams are here for the weekend. They're playing in the 4 rinks up in Troy, all different divisions. And I'm here to tell you, for the Red Wing alumni, I told these guys on the podcast and last night when we played these guys, the guys and the gals that do what they do and protect our country and protect all of us, we've got it easy for what we do or what we don't do. And they're the ones that really make a difference, you know, out there with first responders and stuff like that, firemen, policemen, and stuff like that. So if you get a chance, say hello to one of them, a policeman, a fireman, or whoever it is, and give them a hand and wish them well.
All right, I just got word. This is a message out into the void. I just got word that Ken's about a minute away. He'll be at the Montcalm entrance. So if anyone needs to open that door, I'm just going to put that out into the world.
Where's he parking?
Oh, who knows? I think he parked at the arena and walked over, actually.
Oh, no, he didn't. No.
Yeah, we offered to get him a car, an Uber, and everything, and you know Ken.
If you want him to drive somewhere, get him a tricycle. You know what that is? But young people know what a tricycle is.
Oh yeah.
Okay. He's not very big, you know. Give him a three-wheeler.
This is just like the Winged Wheel.
This is the roast of Ken Daniels.
That's right.
You guys chirp at each other a lot?
Yeah.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's good. Good, like being on the ice.
Oh, yeah.
So what's going on with you guys out in the podcast world with the Winged Wheel and what we're doing? You tell me.
Well, first of all, thank you all so much for being at the third ever live showing of Winged Wheel Podcast Night at the LCA. You know what's going on, Mick, is we were saying we don't know if anyone's actually going to show up this time because the previous two were at the arena, as you'll know. And we never think that the listenership is real. We think you're all paid actors.
There you go. Tricycle. Where's your tricycle? Times are changing.
Ken Daniels, everybody.
Well, we had fun at your expense for a minute or two.
That's good.
But it was short.
Of course it was.
Ken, we were just saying...
Stop on my account. You go.
We were just thanking everyone for being here. We didn't know what the turnout was going to be like outside of the arena because, we thought you're all going to the Red Wings game and we just pulled you suckers in. But I can't see past many of you. So I'm assuming the rest of the room is very full of people who are excited to be here. So thank you, imaginary people behind this wall. And it means the world to have you all here and genuinely, not just supporting the show, but the Jamie Daniels Foundation. Genuinely, thank you.
I saw you sent me something where if we mention the Winged Wheel podcast on Valley Sports Detroit tonight, they're going to donate.
Someone, that wasn't us, someone else. I think
know.
that was Linda Hull, yeah.
Trust me, you'll be mentioned.
Okay.
So everybody follow her and donate like she is, and that'll be good.
Right. All right, folks, welcome to the Winged Wheel Podcast. I'm joined here by special guests Prashanth Iyer. We also have...
Brad Crisco.
And I'm Evan.
And most importantly, we have Ken Daniels and Mickey Redmond. Gentlemen, thank you.
Does Kenny know about Luxembourg?
Ken, no, Ken doesn't. We have a family here from Luxembourg. That's how far in we're pulling in listeners now. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Alive. You guys, it's great.
So let's talk a little bit about the Red Wings here. It's been an interesting start to the season. It's been the wildest offseason that the Red Wings have had since we started this show almost 8 years ago now. And the start of the season, though it might be tough, was probably as predicted, maybe. What do you guys make of it?
Well, injuries, the kids not coming through like they were last year. Andrew Kopp trying to find his legs, missed all of training camp. We're treading water right now, I think. But the good news is for all of that is if you look at the standings, Pittsburgh got whacked last night. Tampa's off to a rough start. Washington's off to a rough start. So that's the best we can hope for at this point in time is to try to get our people back, get our young guys going, and to just, at least not fall, into the abyss like we did last year. So we got to stay even with these guys to give us a chance once we hit Thanksgiving, Christmas, and into the new year. So, a lot of things have to happen, but a lot of things have happened. By the way, did you find out if Larkin's playing tonight or didn't skate yesterday, right?
He's playing.
He is playing. Sunquist is not, or we don't know yet? We're not sure.
Sunquist is not.
Giovanni Smith.
Giovanni Smith is in, and I'm just trying to...
Jordan.
And the mirror image of 28 is out. So 82 Osterley is in.
Yep.
Finally gets to play. I just saw Jordan on the way over. So it's nice that he gets into the lineup. And to your point, you can imagine if this were a year ago and the Red Wings didn't have the depth that they do now with Kubalik and Perron, if we didn't have that and we had these injuries I'm just talking about up front, it would be a lot worse. But they are deeper now, so I think hanging in there they can.
So we just got news that Michael Rasmussen was suspended for 2 games, which is obviously, a decision in and of itself. But that line, yeah, right? We were surprised too. I think 2 was a bit.
Spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Spin the wheel of justice.
You know, it was a pretty good two-hander.
He got his money's worth.
You know, back over the shoulder.
It was, but I looked at I looked and listened to the player safety video that they put out, and it's on NHL.com, so you can see it, that Evgeny Kuznetsov to Kyle Burrows of Vancouver took a two-hander turning around right to his face, and he got 1 game. And he hasn't been disciplined by the player safety in his career, nor had Michael Rasmussen. So I just didn't get where he got 2 games to the 1 game for Kuznetsov. Made no sense to me if you look at the video, and I'm sure that we'll show it tonight. So I didn't.
I'm with you. I saw both of them myself, and it was strange. He hit him right in the mouth, the other guy, Kuznetsov. It's just, you know, Ras, being 6'6", he does play a physical game. He gets under people's skin. He chirps a lot. He's got people slashing him in the back of the legs. When I go down the bench in the third period and some of this stuff is going on, you don't see a lot of it anymore like the old days. But the other night we had it's almost like I touched you last. It's like, really? But Rasmussen gets people going that way. And I think he's going to have to kind of, I'm sure they're talking to him a little bit about just, you know, we liked your physical play, but you got to be a little more careful. It was reckless. I don't disagree with that. But I'm with you on the Kuznetsov thing. He just slapped the guy right in the face with the stick. And I'm listening to it thinking maybe he gets 3, maybe he gets 4 after watching the other one.
I thought it was 5 when I looked at it and went, holy cow, I've never seen something like that before. Honestly, just turn around the two-hander. See, now if supplemental discipline were to give him 4 or 5, then you can understand where they go to Michael Rasmussen at 2. That makes sense to me. But when he gets 1 and then you give Rasmussen 2 and neither had a prior history, it was just weird. And the Krejci hit that Rasmussen put on, I don't think Krejci took it in the head for sure. And as you say, it was reckless. But he wasn't hurt by that. It looked like there was some other injury he had the way he was bent over, that the stick really didn't do the damage the way he went into the boards did. So anyway, one man's suspension is another man's opportunity.
So Rasmussen, Sundqvist, and obviously Elmer Soderblom. People were calling them the Redwood line, which I thought was great. And then Mick.
Can you take a vote here? Let's go through it. You go ahead, Ryan. Can you take a vote?
Okay, hands up if you prefer to call them the Redwoods line.
How about a volume vote?
Yeah, give us a quick woo. Mick, yeah, this is the idea was yours. I want to say Mick Redmond thought of this. The Treesome line. Let's hear it for the Treesome. This is officially going to be demonetized on YouTube.
Right. There's a lot of names. I mean, those boys are big. God almighty. I mean, what are they, about 700 pounds, the 3 of them? I mean,
probably.
I mean, they're close to 700 pounds.
Yeah.
And they're about 19 feet tall. It's wild. And when I started in the NHL, I was 19 years old. I weighed 155 pounds.
Wow.
I was like a wiffle ball. Bouncing around like, and here's a guy, he's 20, he's 21 maybe, 20. And he's 240, around 240. He hasn't even finished growing yet. And on top of that, he's agile. He can move his feet. You go, really? This guy can pick him up and lay him down. He's amazing, and he's got great hands. So I can only imagine what the future is going to hold, the present and the future, for this guy. He is fun to watch, and when I'm on the bench, I'm like, okay. Here he comes, and he doesn't smile, doesn't say a lot. He just, no emotion. But the kids played really well the first start of the season. We're happy for him.
So maybe I'll throw it to Brad and Evan because we have some questions, or Prashanth even, because we have some questions about expectations for the entire year. If you guys want to take it away.
I mean, it's hard to say what the expectations are because so far in the season we don't have a feel for what they are. We haven't seen the full lineup. Vrana and Bertuzzi are such key pieces to the top 6 of this team, and they haven't played this year really. And you have the new players like Mick alluded to. Kopp hasn't found his footing yet. Seider and Raymond aren't doing what they did last year. They're a 500 team, and a lot has gone wrong for them so far. So I'm going to take that as a huge positive for the rest of the season. So when they get healthy, the new guys fully gel, Seider and Raymond get it going again. Again, I didn't have this team pegged as a playoff team before the season. I don't have them pegged as a playoff team now, but I fully
Boo
expect...
this man. Boo this man.
But I fully expect them to be playing meaningful games deep into March and April this season.
What do you guys think? How far do they make it in the year? Is this a wildly different team, or are the growing pains we're going to see now going to kind of last all year? I'm putting you on the spot.
Well, it's not on the spot. I've said it before that the season started. I didn't think they were a playoff team, and not because of what they did or didn't do. It's because of the other teams that they're facing. Steve Yzerman said it in his opening press conference. He said there's 2 teams fighting for 8 spots. If you look at the other 3 that are realistically there, and with Ottawa improving, Buffalo's going to hit a bit of a skid here, I think, with some injuries, and I don't know if their goaltending is sustainable the way that it's gone. So the Red Wings are certainly better. The key is if they're within 8 or 9 points, I think, at the beginning of April, or who knows? I mean, anything can happen, I guess. But it's not so much what they did or didn't do. It's just the other teams in the competition they're facing. I do think if things continue this way and they get healthy again, and depending what happens, I think they're a legitimate shot to be in the playoffs next year.
Somebody's going to have to falter for them to get in this year, whether it's Washington, whether it's Pittsburgh. It's not going to be Tampa Bay, I don't think. It's not going to be Florida. It's not going to be Carolina. It's not going to be Toronto. Washington, I don't know about Washington. They're getting a little bit long in the tooth in certain areas. Pittsburgh's still got a pretty stacked lineup, but you never know about
Carolina, Rangers.
Carolina's for sure guaranteed. They're maybe the best team in the whole conference. Rangers, when they get it going, they'll be good. So there's nothing there unless somebody falters. So, are we going to knock one of those guys out? It means we've got to get 100 points probably. And that's not likely to happen. But you know what? This goofy world of cap stuff and the injuries that are going on in this league today because of the speed of the game, it's crazy. So anything can happen. If you like keeping your glass half full, then you know what? You keep the hope up. And but we got to get through this stretch where we get Bertuzzi back, get Vrana back, get people settled down, get Kopp comfortable. The other guys have really pretty well found their stride. I think Sherratt, Mata, David Perron, these guys, Hag. I mean, they're all in. Husso, I think, has been fine. But we got to get the other guys going and get these other guys back in the lineup. So, and if we do, and we can hang in there, till Thanksgiving here, it's only a month away. Our schedule is not that bad. It really isn't bad. I think tonight's game, coming off the Boston for sure, and then the debacle here at home against New Jersey, tonight's pretty damned important. And Minnesota, they were ugly at the beginning at home, and they got all upset. They're on a roll. And we're going into Buffalo tomorrow to play on Monday. And there's 2 teams that are looking for that next spot in the playoffs. So I think tonight is really, really the very first huge game for this team, even though it's 8 games in.
So we were actually talking about this last night. I think one thing that this broadcast that you two do especially well is you balance things like, the speed of the game and commentating and calling it as you see it. But you work in things like advanced analytics, which aren't always so easy to decipher on the fly. And Ken and Mick, I got to say, the way you two decipher advanced analytics on the air, Mick, whenever you see something like expected goals and your glorious question, which is expected by whom?
That was ultimate. That was the best line ever. The graphic said expected goal totals, and Mickey said expected by whom, and I thought it was really neat that grammatically he got whom correct. So that was really cool. I love that.
Mickey, if you want to know whose fault it is, whom's expecting it,
yeah.
it's Prashanth right here.
Now, I want to tell you, I wasn't trying to be funny.
That was a legitimate question.
Who is this? Where are they? Gremlins. They expect this to happen.
Sorry, buddy.
Really? Okay. Listen, I get the analytics thing, but analytics don't take into consideration heart and soul and things happening on the ice on the fly. The numbers, at the end, you can add them all up and do what you want. But, boy, I'm telling you, when stuff happens on the ice, on the fly, you can't put that on a piece of paper. And when guys dig in and they want something or need something, and they're going to go and get it. Now, the numbers at the other end will show that they got it, but they won't always get it. So I don't know if that means expected or not expected or what, but it's very strange for me. I understand some of it, not all of it. I'm buying in partly, but not all of it. So I'm kind of just I'm trying to tread water for a while.
You know what? You're right there with my better-looking older brother, John Tortorella, who, God, I love Torts. He is a wonderful human being. Say what you want when you see him out there on the bench or he's saying crap about his players. Ultimately, most love him, and we do. And Torts said, analytics are fine. They're okay. But quite frankly, a lot of it is trash. According to him, he said a lot of it is most of it is eye test and gut for me, to quote John. He said some of it can be used. And I'm sure that the inner workings of front office staffs will use analytics, and they probably should. I'd love to hear Prashanth, because people don't really realize how analytics are done. And there's many websites out there without great detail. What you said to me last night sort of summed it up. So Prashanth, who's North Carolina, you know he's from North Carolina, and he flew up here just to see you?
Just to see you, Mick.
He did.
Why? You want to do color tonight with him?
Trust me, no one wants to see that.
Huh?
No one wants to see that.
Explain your analytics as simply as you can, how it's done.
You know, we were talking about this a little bit, and I think the most important part when people go to use or look at numbers is you really have to understand where they come from and what all is factored into it. And just because someone has expected goals on this page doesn't mean it's the same as somebody else's. The amount of information that all goes into it is extremely different. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of people spend time using those numbers to maybe feed a narrative that was already in their mind about where they wanted to go with something, and not necessarily understanding on how that could potentially inform more. But I will say this, a lot of the public stuff that's out there is missing a lot of information that's captured by private companies like SportLogic that you guys are able to use, or Stathletes, things like that, it leaves a lot to be desired where we're at still.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, this one goes way back. 6 guys are on the ice, including the goalie. We get scored on. One guy back on the blue line had a brain cramp. All of us get a minus. How do you figure that? I go to the bench and I go, this is bullshit. I get a minus, and somebody's paying attention to that. They look at the stat, they go, this guy's minus 15.
Yeah.
It was his fault.
That's the old
I've always had that problem.
I had my man, right?
Yeah. Well, Bobby Flager, who just passed away shortly, not long ago, one of the 3 Prager brothers, and they're from Kirkland Lake, where I was born. Bobby used to say, when video replay came in, the saying that I had my man went out the window. Everybody was watching. But anyway, how do you account for a minus figure like that when somebody else caused the problem and you have to pay the price?
Yeah, on an individual play,
Right.
none of the numbers you're going to look at are going to tell you that for an individual play. What they try to do is over the course of a season, they'll take a look at all of the players on the ice and try to identify who's the common player that's always on the ice when this minus is happening, and then they'll try and put the blame towards that
Who's screwing
player.
up the most?
Right.
Right.
And so that's how
Okay.
those try to figure it out.
But you said to me, and you simplified it last
Yeah.
night when we were at Grey Ghost, which is my favorite restaurant in Detroit.
Yeah.
When you simplified it last night, the computer reads what?
Yes. Yeah, so the computer, for some of these private models, the SportLogic, the computer's watching the game. And the computer is actually looking at the players' poses and...
Look at Mickey's face. The computer's watching
Did
the
he
game.
just say the computer's
the
watching
computer-
the game?
Oh, yeah. That's how you guys are getting your numbers at Valley.
Yes. That's how it happens, right?
Yep. The computer is watching the game.
How does it do that?
They've trained it based on where they think the player is and what the
Oh,
position
right.
of the player looks like, and that's how you get your numbers at
What does
Valley.
the computer think about Daniels and Redmond?
Hopefully they're laughing.
The computer is still in its mom's basement, if it makes you feel better.
That's right.
The computer is in somebody's basement,
Yes.
Yeah.
naked, watching the game.
I think this is a groundbreaking moment where it doesn't matter how you feel about analytics. Everyone hates plus minus. So we're just finding common ground here.
Right. Well, many have. The teams still look at it. After the game, they run the stat sheets, which is basically plus minus shots on goal, time on ice, and block shots. That goes down to the room. Trust me, every player grabs that sheet. There's a copy for everyone, and they'll look at the plus minus.
I thought they had access to this stuff during the game, but they don't. And like the other night when I was down on the bench, a certain individual tapped me and said, "How many shots do I have?" I go, 3. Next one's going in. I go, okay. They don't. I just thought they had access to this stuff, but I guess they don't. I tell you a little story. We were when Gus Nyquist was here. You know how small he was, and I'm on the bench in the third period, and Gus got absolutely creamed by some guy from Columbus. So I'm standing there and I'm looking down this way, and I feel this tap on my left leg going on. I hit my talk back or my cough button. I said, "What the hell do you want?" And he goes, "Who the hell hit me?" I said, "Number 39 in blue." Oh, he got wiped up. Remember that? Oh, yeah. He got absolutely creamed. Oh,
and that was before they all had the iPads on the bench. So now they can just look at it. I mean, they're grabbing as soon as they come back. They're taking the iPads. Some coaches hate it. Some don't mind it. Derek Lalone doesn't mind it if they do, but sometimes just concentrate on the game, right? Zibanejad and Kreider. Zibanejad was looking at his miss in the playoffs, and Kreider grabbed it out of his hand and threw it down when the Rangers were in, because just concentrate on the game. Forget what you just did. Just go out and do what you do. So
too intense.
Yeah.
Way too intense. So anyway, you guys are going to the game?
Yep.
And where are you going to be sitting?
Up there with you in the gondola.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Not in your, not in the gondola with you, but elsewhere around there.
You'll be down to our right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Who are we looking for on Minnesota tonight? Anybody know Minnesota? Kaprizov? What do you think of him?
I think he's honestly the next thing, to be honest.
The next what?
I think he's going to be the next top star of the league.
Pretty good player.
I think
he's pretty good first season. Yeah. So who do you think we'll put on him tonight to shadow? Come on. Ding, dun, 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 dun. Rasmussen? Yeah. No, for sure. But he's a killer on the power play, for sure. So we're going to have to watch. We're going to stay off we got to stay off the penalty box tonight, right? I mean, deadly the other night. And Boston is just way too good to put him on a power play like that.
And Minnesota takes the most penalties per game in the league, but their power play's been really good. So yeah, it's a challenge. And Husso's starting tonight, so the rotation ends. So that's interesting too. Yeah.
Well, the good thing about the other night was that we could have had a chance to win that game if we capitalized on our scoring chances early in the game. We had 3 of them in the first period. Soderblom hit the goalpost. A couple of others. We weren't able to capitalize. That's a big problem for Detroit right now. If they score at least one of those goals, it's a different game altogether. And it's not a 5-1 game or whatever. So you have to take advantage of what you've got when you get it. And this team's got to get better at doing that. Realizing that the opportunity is there. It's like life and death on the ice. You got to score. Like, who doesn't want Zadina to score? He could have gone, he could have gone to the front of the net in that third period. Why he didn't, I don't know. We got to get into his head. To go to the net, crash and bang. Let's go.
See, and you see what happens tonight is Adam Ernie gets a goal, and he goes up to the top line with Larkin and Raymond, and Zadina's back on the fourth line again. But they're just trying to find his way somewhere,
Well, I think we have some questions in the crowd. So while Melissa helps us prepare that, I actually want to do some quick shout-outs. I want to say hi to Chris Perry and his lovely wife Roxanne. They're here. Chris is the director of the Jamie Daniels Foundation. This is what this is all for. So every single one of you in here today represents a donation from the Detroit Red Wings and the Winged Wheel podcast to the Jamie Daniels Foundation. So thank you all so much. Thank you.
It is truly remarkable, just Red Wing fans, what you guys have done, and I don't know whether it's our Canadian allegiance. Mick and I are both Canadians, what you guys have done, but it's just the Red Wing fans who who jump on board with money on the board and buy the tickets. So thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Speaking of, thank you. Speaking of folks jumping in, I want to say hi to Charles Litch and the group of doctors here from Beaumont. Thank you all so much. They also made a big donation to the Jamie Daniels Foundation. They're all here representing. You'll see them with their jackets. And they're doing a lot of good work and are really keen to join in the fight against substance use disorder as well. And do we have time to grab some questions? Yeah. And this is Melissa, my much better half. If you ever see me knowing what I'm doing, it's because of her.
Is that an iPad?
It's an iPad.
That's what they look at?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did I do wrong this time?
She's going to the arena to tell them the shot's on goal.
There you go. Detroit Tiger hat, not a boy.
So this is for everybody. What is your favorite hit of all time? Now, I'm only 32, so I only know the newer stuff. So I put in there Cronwall's hit on Heatley in the playoffs. Because he destroyed him. And I hate Heatley. So
Boy, oh boy.
So I know Konstantinov had some great hits.
On Donald?
No, Kozlov.
I'll jump in first because mine immediately jumped to mind, and that was Konstantinov on Howard Chuck in the 97 Cup Finals.
Yeah. Who'd you say?
Konstantinov on Howard Chuck in the 97 Finals.
Yeah. In that series...
97, sorry, 97.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lindros,
I think Shanahan
Lindros
hit
him. Lindros hit him so hard. I think it was in that series, knocked him silly for a bit. Remember that? He could hardly stand up. It was unbelievable. But that guy came back forever, and he was unbelievable. Konstantinov, I'm talking about. I don't know where to go with that question. I mean, all-time hits. You had Pat Quinn on Bobby Orr back in the day, which caused an absolute riot, which you might expect. When body checking was part
Scott
of the game,
Stevens.
it isn't much anymore. Bobby Plager was one of the best. Leo Boyven back in the day, way back. Bobby Bond. But in modern day...
Remember Korea got belted with Stevens and got up and
Stevens?
scored? Yeah.
How about Kozlov getting hit by Stevens?
Oh,
my God. Coming through the middle? Yeah.
Lindros. Well, Eric skated. He was so big when he played junior, and I've known Eric since he was 14. He skated a lot with his head down because he could. And then when he got to the pros, he wasn't always with his head up, and boy, did he get rocked. And yeah.
Cronwall was one of those guys that I loved just because he was so nice at everybody.
Well, he was an old-fashioned. He could have played a throwback. He was a timely guy that if he caught you and read your body language, which isn't on a analytics sheet. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
Right. But you better get your head up.
The other one I remember was Voracek. I think he was on Philly because he got hit and his hands went straight up there. He was vicious.
Rob Blake, who hit, they called it the bee sting, and he said he hit like that. Yeah, because he had shoulder surgery when he first started, and he had no other choice but to hit like that and stick out his ass. But he said the game has changed in a lot of ways because it's so fast now, and the way that teams defend, you can't really come across and get somebody in the eyesights to hit like that anymore. So you're not going to see it like you did in the old days.
All right.
There's another one I just thought about, but I lost it. Jesus Christ.
It's not
hit
a
too many times in the head.
Ken on Mick in the gondola.
Well, I remember in the playoffs, Ozzy knocked Mike Modano over, never got a penalty behind the net. That one. And somebody else went flying in that series. Somebody creamed one of the Flyers, not the big guy either. There's a lot of big hits. McCarty, he got hit, and everything went flying. Stick, gloves, helmet, everything came off on that one. There's been a lot of them over time, But that part of the game is dwindling. Guys are getting hurt today because this game's too fast. And they get on the trolley tracks, they can't get out. They have no options. I'm betting now that this game will slow down for the better. It better, or we're going to have guys hurt all the time. Seriously hurt with head injuries. So let's hope they get on. And maybe the numbers will start telling them to get smarter.
Yeah,
right?
I hope so.
Me too. I'm all for analytics on that.
Hey guys. So my question was, in your long and very illustrious broadcasting career, which player, either on the wings or just any team, do you think had the best personality, and what was like a great story you had with that player?
Holy mackerel.
Man.
Well, there's been a lot of them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a lot of characters.
So many.
Huh? I mean,
So
Brett
many.
Hull, you know.
Oh. Brett was ridiculous. Hilarious. And he helped us with our roast this past year. So that was very nice of him. Shanny was great. Aaron Downey, the Orangeville potato farmer. Aaron was wonderful. Brendan Shanahan. Just so many over the years. Honestly, I love, and Gabriel Landeskog to talk to. You wouldn't know he's Swedish. You can talk to him for hours. We just talk about dogs. You go, you can go in the room, and that's the best part of the day game. You go in the visiting room and you see guys and just shoot the breeze with them. It's really nice. We lost that the last 2 years with COVID when you couldn't go in the room, so we felt pretty isolated from that. But it's been better. So many. I mean, it's hard.
Yeah, we've been very fortunate, I think, here to have guys that bought into what was going on here in Detroit. They do a lot of work charity-wise. They're on the streets doing visits, and I mean they just, when it started back in the day, I think guys like Zetterberg and Lidstrom, they walked into it, so they just became part of. Like Zetterberg was a big part of what they call the fire things that up in the ceiling.
He took over from Brendan Shanahan. Fire alarms, yeah.
Was it fire alarms and stuff like that, and donated a lot of stuff. Yeah. Visited. Ozzy and I actually just a month ago went and visited a bunch of firefighters up in the east side in Macomb, and had a great hot stove with them for about an hour or so. But again, there's first responders that do things every day, and possibly when they do what they do, they're putting their lives on the line, So I think this organization has done a really good job with getting guys out like that. I'm just trying to think of, it's hard to find a bad guy. Just switch the other way. That's somebody who just didn't engage. Most of the guys are pretty easygoing, when we're not down there, battling like that. But characters, McCarty was a character for sure. Brett Hull was a character. Wait a minute.
Hold some.
How about Sean Avery? I remember when Sean was with us. Oh, he was a funny dude. I swear to God. And he got on the elevator. Remember this one with Iserman,
and
Shanahan, and by this time
I was there.
The veteran guys were figuring out that Sean Avery wanted to act like a veteran. So I guess he gets off the elevator or something. You tell the story.
It was all that left in the elevator at the time was Iserman, Shanahan, Avery, and me. And we were on a higher floor for no other reason we were. It didn't matter. They weren't on the same floors. And Steve gets off. And as the doors close, Sean says, he gets his own room.
Uh-oh.
And I looked at Brendan, and he's like one floor up, and the door opens, and Brendan just waits. And he said, yeah, Aves, as soon as you get to the Hall of Fame or maybe play one more game in your career, you'll get one too.
The moral of that story, and many others like it, I mean, not the same, but kind of similar to different humor. There is a boatload of humor that goes on with those guys and around those guys, and we're fortunate to be a part of it. That you just got to go, oh, this is unbelievable. And there's no, you gotta have big shoulders because you're going to get picked on. Nobody's exempt, and so they're going to come after you sooner or later. So it's all part of the game and the family atmosphere that hockey players have, and which makes this the greatest game in the world. Yeah.
I think we have time for one more question before we wrap. Travis, do we have a Travis here? Travis with the Stadium Series jersey, my man.
I guess, what's your favorite building to announce in, and what's your favorite building as far as being a fan?
Announce in? I would have to say now, probably Right, I hear you. No, I get you on the road.
We'll think the same on this one.
Yeah, I'd have to say it's pretty easy, Montreal.
Right.
And that's because the gondola in Montreal is down, I'm trying to remember, what is it, about 60 or 70 feet off the ice, and it's over towards the boards. So you're not only not way high, but you're also in. At the Joe, like we were at the back of the seats, so far away from the boards, it was ridiculous, you know. But Montreal is really cool.
Yeah, I think the chants show that the hot dogs are overrated from how they used to be. They're making them a little different, but there's a very thin hot dog in like bread that's toasted. Not as good as it used to be. But yeah, Montreal, except the access, you got to go up, go down to get out there. But where the gondola is, and we modeled ours after Montreal, so it's pretty close to the offset of the near boards. So I'd say Montreal, and now I love Chicago, but we only go there once a year. The old stadium I love the best because of the noise and the piped organ and into the walls and the place reverberated. But for me, going to Chicago, I get to see my daughter, who's a nurse at Northwestern Hospital now. So I get to see her when we go to Chicago.
So, you know, the other night I had replayed the anthem for a friend of mine. I said, he had no idea. I don't know there's another anthem like that in Chicago.
In Chicago?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, they scream and yell and cheer through the whole anthem, which isn't really disrespectful at all. They got the lighters going sometimes. They darken the arena, and that guy's got a voice like nobody's business. It is if you don't get up for a game after listening to that anthem, you better get out of the kitchen. You don't belong there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
You know, and I know you're wrapping here, and you've mentioned it on podcast before, and we thank you for that. And Chris Perry's here, and we just want to mention that on Thursday, December 1st, at the wonderful Motor City Casino, we're going to hold a breakfast. We're going to go early. We've done roasts in the past and hopefully get back to that again. But COVID had us do 2 virtual roasts after we roasted Mickey in 2019 and 800 people there. And it was just fabulous, and all the folks who came in for it. And then we roasted Scotty Bowman virtually and then Brett Hull. But we're going to do breakfast this time from 7:30. Breakfast starts, and after 8 there's going to be a discussion from 7:30 to 9:30. I say you can come as you are. Tickets are available at jamiedanielsfoundation.org. Breakfast is included. When I say come as you are and it's breakfast, if you sleep naked, put clothes on. But other than that, even in pajamas, or if you're going to work after, it's a suit, you can get to work for the day. So we'd love you to be there. Motor City Casino, Thursday, December 1st, and we're the hot stove, as Mick likes to call it, because in the old days on Hockey Night in Canada, they used to sit around the hot stove in the intermissions and just tell stories. And Ken Holland, when he was here, he'd call us during the day, let's go for lunch, let's hot stove. Let's just go and talk about the game of hockey. So that's what we're going to do. It's going to be breakfast on Thursday, December 1st. Mickey Redmond graciously giving us his time again, along with Chris Draper, Chris Osgood. And the best part of this is that 2 referees will be there, Wes McCauley and Dan O'Halloran. So Dan's now a supervisor, and Wes is going to work the Buffalo game the night before at Little Caesars and stay over. So we thank the league for making them available to get at Mickey for all the years that Mickey went at them. So, and still is on Wes. It was preseason he's on the refs. I said, just wait. So please go to jamiedanielsfoundation.org. We'd love to see you there Thursday, December 1st. It's early, but we're going to have a great time, and you won't get another discussion like this, and there'll be a time for Q&A as well. There will be a silent auction starting November 15th. We've got lots of wonderful stuff and a live auction, including suites to Red Wing game and tickets, etc. So hope you can be there.
So how long are you guys going on the podcast?
How long are we going?
How long do you go tonight?
Oh, we're
another bit yet?
No, we're going to wrap up once in just a minute here, and then we're going to mix and mingle with people.
Okay.
And then we're going to head over to the arena no later than 6.
Okay.
And then we actually have a Winged Wheel podcast table in the concourse where we're going to have a bunch of swag and stuff to give away, so you can come say hi to us there too.
All right. Well, let me just say thanks again to you guys for the time and effort and stuff that you put into Red Wing hockey and the Jamie Daniels Foundation, and all of you guys that are. I don't know, what are they doing? They're following along, or they're part of the family?
They're part of the family.
Part of the family.
I love it because everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of you got a good, healthy ginger ale in your hand. That's a good thing. Daniels and I have to wait till about, what time? 9:30?
Well, games are roughly running 2:21, 7:10, 8:10, 9:10.
You got it down to the minute.
By 9:40. See, when we say goodbye, Mick has to stay on Red Wings Live post-game.
Yeah.
When I throw to John Keating, I'm out the door within 1 second, and he's he calls me on the way home, and I'm like one deep already. And
yeah, I got to catch up all the time. Anyway, thanks so much, you guys. The great game of hockey is great because of things like this. It's a wonderful, close-knit family, even though we're spread out all over the world. And I think we're all blessed to be a part of this whole thing. And just God bless you all, and thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in to the Winged Wheel Podcast. Be sure to check out wingedwheelpodcast.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You'll also find links to other ways to support the show, such as Patreon, official podcast apparel, and more. And don't forget to follow the show on Twitter at Winged Wheel Pod. And of course, the hosts at Brad Crisco, at Ryan Hanna WWP, and at Hockey Town Evan.